guys, Sandra here. I have a project today which is a little different to normal. It's an Easter themed thing and it's a little gift box, a little sweet box. Now I've got a piece of card here, but as you can see, hopefully, it is glossy. The reason it is glossy is because I put a piece of wide sticky tape over the card before cutting it out. The reason for that is because this is hinged and I didn't want this to become very delicate and to fray and things. And this card is a relatively lightweight card. It's not very strong when it comes to bending, so I wanted to make sure it was going to be okay. This is a piece of heavier card. This is 300 GSM and this is going to go in there like that. You shall see, just about got enough glue coming out there to put that in place, like so. So we now have that. This has to be glued on top of there. Now it's really handy if you've got a glue gun and it is a very fine tip like this one. So that is covered, so that is now reinforced. So the other thing that I want to do is to reinforce the other side of it. And to do that, I have some card. Now I cut two of these out. I probably don't need to use two, but it needs to go directly over there. So this is going to make it sturdier in this area here where we have the door. There we go. That is well and truly reinforced. Right, the next thing we have two pieces of foam, because this project is not going to be done with a paper gusset. Again, around the outside of this hole, stick the two of them together. It is important that they line up, and I can put glue along here, giving it about a centimetre without any glue on the end. Doesn't have to be a heck of a lot of glue, it's just to tack it together. I've tried doing this box about 4 times so far, and each time I've done it I have adjusted things up, so hopefully this is now the final version. Fingers crossed. There we are. Now I have an egg-shaped base. I'm going to start just off centre, I think, on the base. Now you can line it up so that it is exactly lined up with the edge. Now when you've got to the other end, you'll discover there is an overlap, and take a sharp pair of scissors and trim off the excess. And this can now join with a little glue. The glue there. Once you have the first bit of glue down, it'll be a lot easier to do the rest of it. And then this bit here, hopefully the hot glue will work on the sellotape. There we have the basis of our box, and we have a lid to go on to that. Now you can, if you wish, line the inside with some more card. This is what makes it easier to put together, because you're not trying to stick a lid on something that doesn't have any substance. What would we be without a lint roller around? So that is how it works. That is pretty good. I'm quite pleased with that. And then I have 2 prints that I drew, and those will go on top. Now I made the prints ever so slightly larger than the box, because in previous goes when I've tried to do it, there's been a little bit of the edge showing, and I didn't want that if I could possibly help it. So I'm going to show you a couple of my prototypes before I did the last one. Now this one I did with the same method with the foam, and it worked really well, except for the fact that this card just is too fragile. It just couldn't cope with it. And that is why I put the sticky tape over the rim on this one, because that protects that card and it makes it a lot sturdier. Okay, so that's one of the reasons why that one got thrown in the bin. This one was okay, but it was more difficult to do. This one was done with the sort of card gusset, and it is harder to do it like that. I didn't do this one with hot glue, I did it with normal glue, but it is harder. And is it as good as the other one? I don't think it is. I think this is a superior model. I mean, you could do this one, but it's not going to last as long as that other box is. And I just didn't like the way it came out quite as much. I mean, it's still doable, but yeah, not as easy. The other thing is that if you're going to do a paper gusset is easy enough to design, but make sure that your flaps are very, very small. I think these were 1/2 centimetre. Doing that, you could go around a curve. If you've got them larger than that, it's very difficult to get around a curve properly with a gusset. It's just not the easiest of things to do. And this one, I had the sides on here, which is okay on the card version. It didn't work quite as well on this type of thing with the foam, so I omitted it on that particular design. But this shuts quite nicely, and I think that's a pretty good little sweet box for Easter. So there we are. That's the process I went through in trying to make these. I did originally try and do the rabbit. It was a much larger one, but I tried to do the same thing around the rabbit with the paper gusset, and it was a nightmare when it came to the ears, because you know there's a little point on there and around the teeth, and it was just like, no, this is not going to happen. I think it took me about an hour and a half to go round it, and then I still wasn't happy with the result at the end of the day, which is why I put him on an egg in the end. There we are, the finished box. I think it's come out quite well. Quite like the look of that. You could, if you wanted to, add some felt or something for the black nose. Now the other thing that I'm doing in the files, I'm giving you this little rabbit that I drew, and it will be done in such a way that you can actually do it by pieces, slotting things together if you like. So if you wanted it as a vinyl design, you could do that. If you wanted to slot it together with card, you could do it that way. Or you could just print it off onto Easy DTV for a vinyl transfer for your t-shirt or something if you felt like it. So there we are. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you again soon. Take care now. Bye bye.